Well, it's the end of summer. We got the rain now, and apparently there's going to be snow coming in a couple of days. So that signals the end of our gardening. Um, we've got somebody next door here who popped in and said that there's some basil out there if we'd like to take it. I hate to see food go to waste. Um, this is what we're going to turn it into right here. Pesto. So I'm going to show you where the basil is outside. We're going to cut it down, we're going to bring it back in, and we're going to make some pesto with you today. This was a magnificent garden all summer long. Now everything's all getting cut back. Bulbs are getting stashed away till next year. And this was actually full of basil. I'm just going to take what's left here. Anyway, this is a sort of a two-hand operation, so I'll harvest all this basil and I'll meet you back inside. There's our basil. Got some garlic. We're going to use more than that. Use another head of garlic. Trusty pine nuts. We've got some excellent 2-year-old Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, some good olive oil from, I think it's from Tasmania, and I think that's all we need. So I'm going to get my mise en place together. I'm going to grate some cheese, chop some garlic, and get this basil off the vine, and I will be back. Radio. Okay, so we've got our basil, and I got all my other mise en place, which I will show you. What do we got here? Okay, welcome back. We have all of our mise en place ready to go now. I just will run around the ingredients one more time. Here's the beautiful basil that we've harvested from the next door neighbors. Garlic, I've chopped it all up because I'm going to be blitzing it, and I don't want to put whole garlic in there in case we end up with chunks. I want everything to be nice and smooth. Our Parmigiano Reggiano has been nicely grated. I have some anchovy paste. I do prefer regular fresh anchovies, but the idea behind this is that I don't have to open a whole can and use a whole can. We have pine nuts. I've got a nice olive oil here, and we are ready to go. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of olive oil rather than put the basil into there first, which it'll gum things up. It needs some kind of liquid for a base. You may notice that I'm not talking about how much of this and how much of that I'm going to put in. Of course, the more cheese you put in, the cheesier it's going to be. The more garlic you put in, the hotter it's going to be. The anchovy is to replace salt, because I don't like putting salt. Makes all this stuff go watery once you get it all prepared. The more basil it's going to taste like. The sweeter your olive oil, the sweeter it's going to be the background flavors. So really, it's to your own taste. That's why I call this Dean cuisine. I've got this how I like to have it, and you should make yours how you like to have it. So let's start with some basil there, and in with the olive oil. Stuff that in there. We can go quite a bit to start off with. I'm going to put some garlic in there too. I'll start with about half. Then I'll top it off with some oil again. Just so that so the blade on my wand here, or blitz, or whatever you'd like to call it, doesn't get all gummed up. And of course, cracked black pepper. We never use store-bought cracked pepper. We always crack our own. Way more flavor. Put in as much as you like. I hold it at a bit of an angle because this thing has four holes all around, and if I hold it at an angle, it gives it a chance to circulate. You can see that. Try not to make a big mess. Now I'm going to add almost all the rest of my basil. I'm holding some behind because we're going to have this for dinner tonight. We're having pasta two ways, and I'd like to have a little bit of garnish, and also I roll this up and we do a chiffonade, which you can go to our techniques videos and show you how to chop garlic, how to chiffonade, what chiffonade means, and all this kind of stuff. A little more olive oil. A little more pepper. Now that's probably a good time to put our pine nuts in. And I think I'm also going to add my anchovy paste. Again, how much do you want to put in there? I don't know how much, how salty do you want it? How much do you want it to taste like? You don't want it really to want it to taste like anchovy. Like you want this to be a salt, not a fish flavor. Oh, that's so good. That's really nice and salty. Okay, now the rest of my garlic in there. It's going to be quite hot with all this garlic because we like it hot. And now that we're just about done, is when we want to have a look and see the consistency. And that looks pretty good. Nice and creamy. Okay, now you're wondering, oh, when are you going to put the cheese in? This is such a beautiful, delicate cheese. I don't want to blitz it. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm done here. And then I drop the cheese on top, a little bit of pine nuts, and then we mix it up. Let's make sure I'm getting this on camera here. Okay. So you blend all that in together. This is set up quite a bit. This is what we did yesterday. And it just came out of the fridge, so the oil is quite stiff. But when I add this to it, and then I'm going to blitz the whole thing, and it's going to be lovely and creamy. So we'll get back to you when we're having dinner tonight, and you can see the finished product. Okay, welcome back. It's supper time. Here I have we've got linguine. I've got mushroom and onion tomato sauce, and of course our lovely pesto. But you can see how creamy it is. It's just luxurious. There's lots of, not sure if you can see the shine to it. So we'll add some Parmesan to the tomato and a chiffonade of basil to the pesto. Everybody gets hit with some pepper. And I guess I'll need a fork. Luckily I always keep one on hand. So let's go in for the pesto here. Oh, that's a big one. Mmm. Mmm. Absolutely fabulous. So fresh. You'd think it was in the middle of summer. This is our bread that we did in the other episode. Our, if you want to go and see our easy bread episode, let's hear what it sounds like. Mm. I'll give you a toast. Thanks for watching. Oh, we'll see you next time.